friends, Jewel back with another super cool astrology video. And today we are talking about Mars opposite Mars in Synastry. What happens when we see this between a couple? So Mars is our energy, our drive. Really describes the male part of our sexuality as opposed to Venus, which is, the feminine. And, Venus is, our aesthetic sensibilities and our artistic sensibilities, what we love, and Mars is really how we get things, and very much about desire and base desire, and about raw sexuality and energy and power and goals. Very much the warrior within us all. So when we have these two in an opposition is when two planets are opposite to each other on the wheel. So you would look and you would see a red line between two Mars if you have this in your synastry chart. And synastry is when you put two charts together or on top of each other so you can see how two people's birth charts relate. Because different people affect us differently depending on how the energies meet between us. So Mars in a 180-degree opposition angle creates a great attraction between two people. They, the sexual parts of each other, they really see each other when they are sitting across directly from the table. So they're, in oppositions, and if you haven't seen my video on oppositions, you should go back and watch that because that will give you a better understanding of this video. In oppositions, it's, very much about learning from the other. It's a mirroring aspect. So there's, an attractive, repellent component to all oppositions. It's like a seesaw. It's an either or. The energy swings back and forth. So unlike a square where there's a constant tension, it's like a teeter-totter instead with an opposition. So, oppositions can lead to a kind of a love-hate or attractive, repellent kind of energy between two planets. So, in oppositions, their natures are actually, they have modality in common. They're either going to be cardinal, mutable, or fixed in an opposition. So in all oppositions, there is some commonality between them. So Mars in opposition to each other in synastry does have something in common where they do, meet on common ground. So it's really important when you have Mars, opposite Mars in synastry, to see what signs they are in. The signs that they show up in between two people are going to make a big difference in this particular aspect because the way Mars shows up through the signs. If you have two Mars in opposition, one is in earth and one is in water, it's going to be very different from two Mars in opposition where it's fire and air. It's going to be a much less fiery, a much less dramatic combo when you have two Mars that are in earth and water, just because of the nature of how that Mars is showing up in the personality in a natal chart when it is not a kind of a fiery, crazy, or overblown or ramped up Mars that you can see in air or fire signs. It's just a different animal. So it's really important to see what the signs are. So their reactions are very different when we have two people with Mars in opposition, because the way they use their energy and the way they imply their energy is very different. So, you know, how they use and direct their physical energy, their ideas about how they should be pursuing their goals, they're very, very different. So there's a lot of attraction because they do recognize that the other one has a lot of what they're missing to balance out their own Mars. But at the same time, Mars is a very selfish planet. And Mars does not like to compromise. And when we are in an opposition, any opposition, it is extremely important to be able to compromise. So a sense of balance needs to come about. And it's really important, if you have this opposition, to approach it in a very mature fashion. Because if you are not, it makes a big difference. There is a lot of compromise that needs to come about, because the way that these two people assert themselves and, you know, their viewpoint is, they're so different that they need to consciously see the other person's point of view in order to be able to sympathize and compromise. They need to put themselves in the other person's position. So their skills and methods are different, but they are complementary. So when they can put themselves in the other person's shoes, really do that, they can get a sense of what they can really accomplish when they put their energies in the same boat. So, you know, it can be a real labor of love, balancing out this opposition. It's going to be easier too if it is not in fire and air signs. And when they can be big enough and mature enough to step outside themselves and see the other person's point of view and how they apply their energy to their goals, and that is a legitimate way of living and going forward, there's, you know, a big chance for them to make this into a very successful pairing. Because this can actually work out very well for two people if they are using it in a fashion that is not about me, 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 and you need to see my way, my way, my way. Because there is a very good exchange of energy that can happen in this opposition when they are approaching it in a way where they are sharing. They're sharing their energy. They're helping each other achieve their goals. They find that they make a really good team. But when you are not looking outside yourself, it works very much in the opposite way, this opposition, and the people find that they are very much not able to be a team. So it's really in how you approach it, this one. It can work out very well. It's great for sexual attraction. It's terrific for working together if you can appreciate each other's styles. So it's really just about being big enough to see outside yourself, making this one work. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be back with more super cool videos in the super soon future. And you can find me on the internet at truthinAspectAstrology.com, on Facebook at Truth in Aspect Astrology, where I do daily weather forecasts, birthday descriptions, write all kinds of articles. You're missing out if you're not over there. And I will be back soon. Bye-bye.